It's absolutely vital. And for shopping this weekend, which we know is one of the busiest times to visit retailers, it is absolutely vital that every single person in our county and every single business and entity follow those protocols that we've put in place to help protect employees and protect customers when they're out and about. What are those simple rules? Well, one is wear your face covering at all times. Second, businesses need to be implementing their social distancing protocol. You should see the orange check mark at every single open facility in Santa Clara County. Third, maintain social distancing whether when you're in line, when you're inside a store, when you're in the parking lot, wherever you are, you maintain social distancing from anyone who's not in your household. And finally, businesses need to be adhering strictly to the capacity limitations. We've heard many concerning reports about crowding in retail stores, crowding in big box stores, crowding at malls. We know that density contributes to the spread of COVID-19. It is one of the major risk factors. And that is why in the state's purple tier, all retail, all malls, all general places where you might be accessing are limited to 25% capacity. Now that means you may have to wait longer in line to get in. Do so at a distance, bring something with you to read, have patience, but we have got to be very clear about honoring the density limitations. We will be out in force to help ensure that businesses are adhering to these rules, because it is a matter of life and safety. It is a matter of serious illness and death. And so we'll be doing our part, but we really need all of you to do your part. And I'm going to turn it over to Michael Ballier, who is the head of the EOC's Business Engagement Enforcement and Compliance Branch, who's going to talk more about what those efforts will be looking like. Thank you.
Good morning, Michael Ballier, Director for the Community and Business Engagement Branch and Business Compliance Unit here at the Emergency Operations Center. Again, just to build on what Mr. Williams said, it's really important that we have strict buy-in from both the community and businesses in ensuring they're following the protocols that were just described. One of the things that we have really been doing over the last several months under the county's urgency ordinance is when we issue a notice of violation to a business, oftentimes that came along with a grace period. That grace period could be up to 72 hours, and if a business corrected their violation within that time frame, they were able to avoid having to pay the fine. Today I announced that we will be suspending that grace period for at least the next several days as we manage and go through this surge of cases in our community. We're doing that in the hopes that businesses will really be on point in ensuring compliance in their facility. They have a legal obligation and an ethical obligation to protect their workers and the public, and we expect that they do so. I think it's also important to announce that we have been doing education for months, and the things that we're asking businesses to do are not new. We're asking you to continue to be diligent in following the orders and specific requirements, such as the capacity limitation as was described. I think it's also important to note that no business will be asked to pay a fine while we are there. We are not going to be collecting money in the field. There will be a process by which a business will be able to pay their fine after we leave. We've also heard a lot of questions about how to identify our members, and so I'll point out that each one of them will be wearing a vest that clearly identifies them as a public health. Look for these vests when dealing with somebody who alleges that they are an investigator with our unit. In addition, I think it's also important to note that we have received several concerns through our portal regarding retail businesses in particular not engaging in or following the requirements. So we are doing our best to ensure that we follow up on those concerns over the next several days, and we'll be active in those businesses performing inspections and assessing those fines when we find a violation. Again, all businesses should have already filed their social distancing protocol. So as Mr. Williams mentioned, look for that orange check mark. If you don't see an orange check mark or you see businesses that are not following the capacity limitations, please be sure to keep us informed at scccovidconcerns.org, because the information that has been coming in has been extremely valuable in helping us design our enforcement operations. The public continues to be our eyes and ears out there, and we appreciate everybody's diligence in reporting suspected or violations of the different orders. So